excuse me. So this is a continuation of a series, and again, these videos are probably going to be boring because they're mainly for the owner of the project. My glasses are dirty. And so if you're not into SketchUp or architecture or construction, you're going to find this very boring. So anyway, you can hear my dryer going off in the background. Anyway, so this is the work I did yesterday. This is about 6 hours, well, about 8 hours, because I went back in and kind of worked out this stair. And because it's kind of odd, there's a door under, oops, got inside my wall there. There's a door here going into this little bathroom, and I kind of had to rough out the stair just to see if it's going to fit. And so it's going to work. It's just at about 7'3", the ceiling starts to slope. I think it's 7'3" or 7'4". Oh, that's 7 feet. Yeah, okay. So just enough room for the trim on the door. Now on this side, you know, it's going to be 8 feet or whatever. Let's check this side. Oh, 9'3". Okay, so you know, it's just in the middle. You'd probably have a typical, you know, 8 foot or whatever. So, but one of the things we need to do, like Johnny right now, the owner, is he's going through looking at all these room sizes. You know, he's checking to see. Let's see, my master bedroom is, you know, 1411 by whatever 17 feet, and he's checking that. And I want to get all the walls. And everything in the proper place before we start putting doors and windows and all that stuff, because that's really detail, and you want to get your rough walls worked out before you start doing that. Even the cabinets right now are just in 2 dimensions until all of the walls and dimensions are worked out. But one of the things we have to decide after we get the walls in the correct place and the plan, because I think he wants to actually make this space join with the garage and be some kind of utility space. So that means it would most likely be closed off, and we may put a dog leg or something in the stair. So there's some detail has to be worked out here. But this video is about the issue of ceiling heights, and this is kind of, it's not complicated, but it's important because he wants to trade ceilings. So what I'm going to do is kind of explain how those work, just kind of graphically. I'm not going to get into a lot of framing right now. Right now we're just trying to work out details, or, you know, big picture things. So what I thought I would do is take this master bedroom, because it's an easy shape to deal with. And I'm just going to draw myself, I've got a floor started, like a mass for the floor started with a hole poked in it for the stair, but I don't want to use this. I'm going to use a different thing, because this will demonstrate this much better. So right now I've got these at 10 feet, and I'm doing that 10 foot 1 1/8 is what if you bought pre-cut studs, you know, for 10 foot walls, that's what you would end up with. And the framed wall is a little bit taller than the finished height, obviously, because you got to add drywall and floor coverings and subfloor, you know, in some cases underlayments for tile and stuff like that. But anyway, what I'm going to do is draw a sample, like a makeshift floor system here, and these are probably going to be like 16 inches, so plus Advantech on top, so that's going to be about my thickness. And I'm going to push this back because I want to demonstrate something here. To do a trade ceiling, now what you would do is you would come in under this floor system and frame in under that. I'm realizing now this is going to be a little difficult to do. I may have to do like a section, but let me just see how I can demonstrate this. Typically on a trade ceiling, you would have a part that well, at first you would determine what the lowest point of your ceiling you wanted it to be, and if you had 10-foot ceilings, typically that would be 8 feet. So then you would come down, you would frame down to that 8-foot point and come out about 2 feet, 24 inches, at least that much, and see it may be even more than that. Let's call it 3 feet, because in this size room I don't think that looks like it's going to be enough. And then, but we can change that. And then you would come up about 6 inches, and then you would come over half the distance. Don't have which is 18, and then it would go back up. Let's see. Well, 6 inches. Let's see. This is where you get into details, on this stuff. You would either use a 2x6 with drywall around it, which would be 6.5. So let's say it's 6.5 up, 6.5, and then you'd go back half the distance, 18. And actually, we're only going to be taking up then it's a matter of how much room, which would be a minimum of 6 inches, but I'm calling it probably more like 8, like a 2x8, which would be 7 1/4, 7.25. Now I realize I've got this probably too low. See, and this is why we do this, because we want to plan all this out. And this would be, in this case, it would be right up under the, I got that line in the wrong spot, didn't I? Let's make this a group. Then I can delete that. Then we can put this right up against here. So you would frame this. Now I would push this back to that wall, see, and that would actually be done all the way around. And I would detail, once we decide what this shape is going to be, I would go, and it looks like to me now this doesn't need to be, that could probably come out of 6 inches. Whatever this is. I'll tell you, I'm getting nitpicky here now. What is it? What did I make it? 3 feet. We'll just leave right there. But what I can do now is copy this, copy, and mirror it. Oops. I'm gonna grab the center to mirror it. I'm gonna grab those two nodes right there, and wait till I get to 1 over here. Where's my 1? There it is. And then move this back this way. And then I would have another one, and I'm going to push this top thing back further just to show you. Copy this, and it gets rotated. Sometimes it's easier to actually build things than to actually draw them or show them, explain them. So now I got to go under here and get that view and take this back to there, and then I'm going to actually explode this one and make it so it will become what, let's see, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is create a bigger group with all three of these. There we go, and then go in and explode them inside that group. And these management of groups is a big deal, because I don't want this geometry adding itself to this yet. I want this to be separate. So now what I'm going to do is go in here and bring this over to here like that, and I'll delete this one. Well, let's see. I can just, oops. Yeah, this needs to go over here. Oh, I see what happened. I lost my, that's why I couldn't delete that line. Now I can bring this over here and take that to there. And what happens with these is that you frame that, and then once we decide what that shape is actually going to be, we would I would go in and detail that, how it's going to be framed. But it's much too soon now. And this has a little wookie-doo here, so we'll go in and add a line here, so that will allow me to pull this over to there, to that part of the ceiling. You can see now I just need to come out draw this part. I should have copied myself. Where did that go? I should have copied myself another one over here. Now I'm gonna have to draw it, but it's no big deal. Get sure I can see both sides. Get rid of that face and that face. Now I can take that back to there and delete these, and I think that was 1'10". Yeah. Now that measurement is just purely arbitrary at this point. We would determine the point is you're creating a shelf above the stinking faces. I mean, they come in handy, but they're kind of annoying when you're trying to do something like this. So what it would do is create a tray . Where's that? Up here. Let's see if I can get to where I'm standing in the room. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll cut us an opening, and I'm going to make this floor system. This is the floor system above. Like you would frame this first, make that a group, and this would be, you'd frame your floor system above all this first. Okay, so let's pretend now, well, we're not going to pretend, there is a door here, but I'm just going to rough it out right quick. Find the center, hit the middle. We'll just call it 3 feet for now. Let's come out. Oops, did I select my, oh, I haven't selected my group yet. That would be 36 by, we'll just call it 84 for now. Poke a door in there, just so I can kind of walk you into the space. Uh-oh. Hey Gary.
Hey, Tony. You want me to bring stapler and stuff tomorrow, or?
No, we're going to work on that step first. Remember?
Yeah.
So we'll do that, and we can bring it if you want to bring it. You can, or and set it up, or take it over there after we're done with the step. But otherwise, we can bring it Tuesday.
Okay, I'd rather bring it Tuesday. I don't want no one to take it because it's be easy to get.
No, I got you. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
But we're gonna do it.
Yeah. So far, that's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all we're gonna do tomorrow? We're gonna are the windows in or anything, or?
The window we may go pick up the windows.
But not install them.
Right. Well, it'll just depend on how much time we have.
Okay.
All right. Thanks,
All
Gary.
right.
Bye. Sorry about that. I needed to talk to Gary. Am I still broadcasting? I lost my. Let me check. Am I still on the air? Sorry about that. So, back to this. So if you're in the master bedroom now, and you're walking in, let's see if I can get this view. This is a little frustrating because you kind of have to set up these views a little so where you can see them. And I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna delete that line, and I'm gonna. Now this may be just too. I don't know. This may be just kind of an overkill or of trying to explain this, but see, here we go. Maybe I can get it. All these faces are need to be reversed. But anyway, you can see that now in this scenario, you're at 8 foot. You're basically at 9 feet there and 10 feet. But what it does is it creates a little tray. I can't get. I'm trying to get to where I can look up better. It creates a tray on the ceiling. Probably easier just to see it from above. I just wanted to delete some of these lines, but you can see there's a tray. It's a trade ceiling now. So the reason this matters is because your initial wall height is obviously has to be framed first. So 10 foot I think is a little extreme. Let's just push this back for right now. Let's push this back. Oops. And we'll get this. I don't know why these faces want to keep messing with me. There we go. So if you let's say you made your wall studs 9 feet, so we could lower this 12 inches. See, all this, even this second floor system would be lowered. So let's say so that means this would be, you'd be down here, see, and I think this might be easier to show in a section. Let's do a quick section on this. I did the whole thing, didn't well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to delete it anyway. So there we go. It might be easier to demonstrate this way. You see, and looks like I deleted one of my lines accidentally. Let's go back and oops. What is it? Gotta make sure I'm in that group when I'm adding geometry to add it to the group. I don't know what I'm doing here. I like these faces to be on the lightest side. There we go. So just to kind of demonstrate, you'll delete that line. Yeah, so there's your trade ceiling, and what you would do is you would come on top here and you would have an area to put rope lighting or whatever kind of lights you want in there. But all this is to just demonstrate why it matters, you know, because now you would just work this out to where you had an 8 foot, basically an 8 foot ceiling around the edges, but in the middle you would have your 10 foot. Well, that, I'm sorry, that hasn't been, that I didn't lower that. This would be lowered, because this would then be built on top. Like that. I'm going to push it back. Then your floor, you know, your floor system would be built up there. I'm just sliding it back. So anyway, that's just a quick way to show, and maybe if we look at it the other way, let's move that back and we'll do a, what you're supposed to do is just select the well, I thought if I just selected the groups, oh, I should have been inside that group. Maybe if I do a section this way, you can see it in relation to the door and better. Like that. So then you'd have lighting up there that you couldn't see, but the lighting would reflect off of the ceiling and come, it's ambient lighting, and it's really nice actually. So then all you have to do is decide how far, you know, how big you want this space. That's 8'11", and how wide these little wings are, 3 feet. This would just be about a foot or so. So, and then, you know, sometimes you go ahead and put can lights in the bottom of this, or up here, or and then maybe a fan in the middle that just hangs down a little bit past the tray ceiling. But you see, all that starts with you deciding what your ceiling heights are in the main part of the house. Now you can bump them up and down. Like, I don't know if you've watched my SketchUp videos before, there's a house on the river that we did, and we had this living area was bumped up to 12 feet. So, and we just framed separate 2x6 walls for it. And, you know, we'd have a LVLs coming across here. That's why I wanted these walls to line up, because I was going to put a LVL and that would probably be about 16 inches tall. And then that would, then your floor joist would be supported across there, and they would sit. And in this other case, we put, you know, we would have a wall on top of those LVLs, because this has to span that distance. But then we went back and built another wall on top of it that was like 24 inches tall. See, and then you just raise up that whole. If I wanted to just be extreme and show you, well, that doesn't solve that, does it? You would have to trying to see how I can show this real easy without making this all complicated. Make that a group and then come down here. Well, these walls, what you would do is that these, in that, gotta edit that group, isolate these walls right here. Like that, and then this, yeah, and then that would have a, let's see, yeah, then this would be there. Depending on whether they wanted this area, I would say probably not. Or we'll just do it like this. Then this whole wall would be framed up to there, like that. And you'd have your beam, and then you'd have another beam, or another. And this is supposed to represent your LVLs with, and this one would be over here. Let's see, what did we do wrong here? Did I raise up the, I think that's funny. This wall was not at the right height to begin with. That was weird. But that's why you go through all this. So this that mass represents LVLs and a little knee wall, or whatever it takes to get that raised up. But these walls would be built that height to begin with. So that's kind of in a nutshell. And then over here you can just leave these bedrooms. What have I got these at? 9 feet, or is that 10 feet? 9 foot 1. Okay, yeah, that's what that wall. I had some of these already raised to 10 feet and some left at 9 feet. So see, then it kind of makes the exterior interesting, because when you start popping the roofs on this, this roof is lower than that one, and it kind of gives it some depth like that. I wonder if we could just copy, but then you would come in and build your trade ceiling inside this. Where's my floor? This floor would be raised up for that part, so you'd have your own. This one would have its own floor system sitting on top of the walls, and then you'd come inside and build the tray ceiling underneath it. And this area over here gets interesting too. But all this is kind of I don't think I'm even gonna, well, yeah, I'm not gonna save this drawing. I think I'm gonna save it as like camp. That way I can send I can just delete that and just show the trade ceiling, how it's framed on there. Okay, I just wanted to make this, I wanted this to be a quick video. I didn't want this to be a real long one. there's Cam. Hey Cam, how's it going? Working on a Sunday. I got an ox in a ditch. I gotta get him out. But I just claim I'm Jewish today. It's not my Sabbath, but I guess I shouldn't joke about religion, should I? But this, I roughed this stair out. I guess I said that at the beginning, didn't I? Just because this is a little convoluted right here, where this door comes in under. It's kind of neat. I mean, I kind of like these little spaces, kind of hidden little hallways going back into a powder room. But this is a lot of detail right here that needs to be worked out, and that's what the owner's doing right now. I just wanted to demonstrate why we need to decide on the heights of these walls before we go put doors and windows and all that in there. So anyway, hope that made sense, and I appreciate you watching.